Game developers have made an announcement regarding their intentions to discontinue the use of the very popular game engine Unity, and they are urging players to join in protesting the newly introduced per-install fees. So yeah, numerous game developers have come forward urging their player communities to voice their discontent over Unity's recently unveiled pricing changes. Under this new structure, developers who achieve a specific threshold of revenue or game installations will face charges each time a player installs their game. Several development teams have even revealed their plans to abandon Unity and transfer their projects entirely to alternative game engines like Godot or Unreal. And as an example, there's a game called Frog Song that is being developed by Frog Team Games. I guess they really like frogs, and they are among those contemplating this transition. So they expressed their concerns, basically saying that because of these new rules, even though Frog Song is a very small game, it kind of gets rid of the incentive of wanting their new game, Frog Song, to get really popular, because if they do get really popular, then it becomes basically a financial burden on them where they will have to start paying every time players are installing or downloading their game. They elaborated on how these fees would negatively impact indie developers, making giveaways, charity bundles, and platforms like Game Pass financially unsustainable. They emphasized that these fees do not provide really any benefits to developers and in fact could really harm them. And there is still confusion surrounding the implementation of Unity's new pricing policies, which are, by the way, set to take effect in January of 2024, so we got about 4 months now. Now, it is worth mentioning that Unity has said that charity games and charity bundles are exempted from these sort of fees. But the precise criteria for distinguishing these from other games, well, that remains unclear, which is definitely frustrating. Innersloth, the developer of Among Us, is also exploring the possibility of moving away from Unity, and that is very big. I don't need to tell you that Among Us is a huge game. So Innersloth expressed concern about the potential repercussions on game studios of all sizes and budgets. In the event that the changes are enacted, they anticipate delays in delivering content and features that players desire as they consider migrating to a different engine. There are a lot of game studios, mainly smaller indie game studios, that have really expressed their frustration with this, and a lot of people are, I guess I would call it maybe panic porting their games over to different game engines because, like I said, they don't want it to get to a certain point where their game becomes so popular that they have to start paying for game downloads just because they used the Unity engine. And additionally, it's not just game developers, it's also game publishers that are questioning whether they will continue to support Unity games under the new pricing structure. One developer even emphasized the importance now of disclosing the game engine used in game pitches. So basically, when a studio, mainly like a smaller studio, is pitching their game, now it might actually be kind of necessary to say, hey, what game engine are you using? Because if you are using Unity, then this might kind of be a burden on us financially once the game kind of gets big. One major question that remains unanswered is how Unity will differentiate between legitimate installations and potentially malicious actions such as installing pirated copies of games or repeatedly reinstalling games just to penalize developers. In other words, if you're a troll or a group of trolls and you kind of just, well, you want to troll a game studio by making them pay more, you could just basically install the game a bunch of times just to enact fees on them. Unity's proprietary data model is not detailed, and developers and publishers now are left with a very sad request for trust, which might not be very easy. Unity has been a very respected game engine for like more than a decade now. I think it's been out for a very long time. With this new change, unfortunately, a lot of people are now panicking. Unity may need to completely have a price overhaul and just completely reverse this, because if they don't, it sounds like a lot of people, a lot of game developers, a lot of game publishers will be jumping ship on the Unity game engine.